white supremacy. Joe Madison was on my TV show last night, and he gave at the end of the segment that we did with him and Kimon Freeman and Hillary Shelton of the NAACP, and Kimon is with We Act Radio, which carries this program, and also with Black Lives Matter. Joe gave one of the most impassioned. I wish I had a clip of it right now. The clips don't get cut up and won't go up for another hour or two. Over on that website, on that YouTube channel. But basically saying, the problem here is that white people have been conditioned by white supremacy, and it's never referred to in using those words, at least in the white media, in the quote mainstream media. And so have many black people been conditioned by white supremacy. And I don't even want to pretend to be channeling, for lack of a better word, the brilliant and great Joe Madison. But it was like, for me, it was that was one of the most remarkable speaking truth to power moments in the program, I thought, and for me in a long time. It's this issue that nobody talks about. I mean, it's hard enough to get white people to talk about white privilege, and you've still got Bill O'Reilly and the entire Fox News, Fox so-called news, the official voice of the Confederate States of America network, proclaiming that there's no such thing as white privilege. Try having a conversation with them about white supremacy. They will just bang, stop you in your tracks. But it's a conversation we need to have in this country. We need to change fundamentally our culture. Kimon gave a brilliant comment about, here are the structural things that we need to change. We need to start holding police accountable. I need to go back and watch it because he write down his list because it was, or get him back on the program here, because it was just an absolutely brilliant list. And there is a cultural piece to this. I remember, my first aha on this was back in probably 1966. As a teenager, as a white teenager living in a white neighborhood, going to a white school, listening to Dick Gregory's double album, The Light Side, The Dark Side. And it was like, it totally blew my mind. It was like somebody had just opened the door and said, hey, there's another world over here. And in fact, that's, I've told this story before, that's how I got fired. The one time in my life I've been fired from a job was I was doing radio on WVIC in Lansing, Michigan. And they were doing the Drake format. And there was this rule in the Drake format that you couldn't play two black artists back to back and you couldn't play two women back to back because it would, quote, create a sound. And one night I was on the air and I played two black women back to back. And Bob, the guy who was the station manager, called me up and started screaming at me. And so I just started playing black women back to back. And he's calling up and yelling, and we're pushing midnight. And so I finally, okay, I'm getting fired. What the hell? And I put Dick Gregory's album on, and I played that for the rest of the night. And about 2 o'clock in the morning, the engineer came in, and he says, I'm supposed to remove you from the building, because I quit answering the phone. And I said, you that's fine. I'm not going to pick a fight with you. The guy was a good friend of mine. We were both ham radio operators. And I said, do you really want to do that? And he was like, nah. And he pulled a bag of pot out of his pocket. He says, let's get high. So we did that instead.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
But I'm telling you, it's white people in this country are clueless, by and large. We'll be back. We'll pick up your calls right after this.